India is the right country at the right time now to be holding the G20 presidency, British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak has said on the eve of his visit to India. He will be in Delhi on Friday to attend the G20 summit. Sunak has said, and he said this in an emailed interview to PTI, that India's scale and its diversity and what he called its extraordinary successes make India the right country at this time for the presidency. And he said he pays tribute to Prime Minister Modi and to his leadership over the past year. And he said it is wonderful to see India showing such global leadership. Sunak has said that Britain will work closely with India through the G20 to address some of the biggest challenges that the G20 is taking on. And that ranges from addressing issues relating to the global economy to dealing with climate change and security concerns. Sunak said the relationship between India and Britain is critical at this time. He said it's a relationship that will define the future of the two countries even more than it is doing so currently. Sunak said that a free trade agreement between the two that is being negotiated would bring benefits to both countries, though he warned that there is still some way to go there, and the talks on the FTA will be continuing through the G20 summit over the next few days. Sunak touched also on a thorny issue between India and Britain arising from the threat from Khalistan extremists who vandalized the Indian High Commission in London in March of this year. That action was followed by some concern within the Indian government that the British authorities have perhaps not gone far enough against the extremists. Sunak has made clear in the interview that no form of extremism is acceptable in the UK. He said that he takes the duty of the government to disrupt and to counter violent ideologies very seriously, and he said the British are working very closely with the Indian government to counter this particular threat and the forms that it is taking. He pointed to a meeting in Delhi last month between the Indian Foreign Minister, External Affairs Minister Jaishankar and the British Security Minister Tom Tugendhat, and through the course of that meeting an amount of 1 crore of rupees, and that grant to that level was announced by the British with a view to understanding the threat from the Khalistan extremists. Not a very large amount, it has to be said, but a signal that the British are addressing the concerns India has, and Sunak made that clear, and he underlined the importance of that issue and of addressing that issue together with the Indian government. And he was firm that the Khalistan extremist threat, to the extent that it is violent, will be countered. He spoke also about Ukraine, and he appeared indirectly to address the Indian position on that war. And he said if Putin is allowed to invade a sovereign country with impunity, that can have terrible consequences, as he said, for the entire world. Ukraine is likely to be a divisive issue over any Delhi declaration arising from the G20. Without doubt, what will be music to Indian ears arising from that interview is Sunak's declaration that he is hugely proud of his Indian roots and of his connections to India. He said his wife is an Indian citizen, and that as a proud Hindu, he will have a connection to India and to the people of India.